Volunteers from across the country are answering a call for help now.
There is an outpouring of support from here in Buffalo and beyond. Some Western New Yorkers headed to Florida to help victims and their families cope with this traumatic event. News 4's Jen Shantz is in Orlando with this story.
While survivors of Sunday's shooting are recovering physically in the hospital today, this city has really just begun its mental and emotional recovery. The two volunteers from Western New York are both trained trauma counselors. They're here today to see that recovery through. Tara Hughes and Peggy McGee-Smith touched down in Orlando this afternoon, ready to work. They're here to listen and help people process their grief.
You know, disasters are disasters, and people's lives, when people come into this, they're going to bring with them many things. I mean, some people may have relatives in the hospital already who are ill, or they themselves may be facing some crisis. And now they have this disaster on top of it.
Both have helped with this sort of trauma before. They worked together in Newtown, Connecticut after the Sandy Hook shooting. Hughes says all mass shootings present a challenge for counselors.
The intentional part of that can make the initial stages very difficult for people to sort of get their head around what happened and why did it happen and why did it happen to their loved one.
Held it together until now.
But this tragedy is especially hard.
We have an LGBTQ component that's going to make it a unique experience because there'll be very likely some families that maybe are unaware that someone identifies as LGBTQ, or there may have been some estrangement, and so sort of pulling all of that together at the same time that you're dealing with either someone who is injured or someone who has died can really complicate what happens.
Hughes and McGee-Smith could be here for several days. They say in situations like this, emotional needs often surface later. Yesterday, I showed you a growing memorial here in downtown Orlando. You will not believe how much that memorial has expanded in just 24 hours. Coming up tonight at 6, we'll take a look at some of the heartfelt messages of hope and love. For now, reporting from Orlando, Jen Shantz, News 4 at 5.